Hello everyone, so Utsuro vs. Everyone Round 2 is actually starting for real now, so let's see how this pans out. Before we start though, I seriously reckon that if Sadaharu was at full strength, he could take this guy on. Come on, like, he's such a bitch.
Yeah! What are you doing this? What private room?
Are you retarded?
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
This shot, along with a few others, really makes me think of how strong Utsuro is without his immortality. Because he sure as hell does rely on it a lot in this fight, and in his fight with Umibozo back on Rakuyo. And furthermore, this seems to be a kind of theme with a lot of the Naraku. That they don't seem to be top tier fighters if it wasn't for their immortality, all except for Nobume, who doesn't have the immortality. But I believe she's top tier anyway since she survived the fight with Utsuro while injured, and fought on par with Okita despite not being immortal herself. Oh, you're in serious trouble now, Utsuro. The police and the Ginta Saiyans are after you. Playtime is over. Ooh. Oh. Yamazaki, why didn't you go Rambo mode? What did you even train for? Kondo, why didn't you get naked? What have you been training for? Kamui's first confrontation with Utsuro is just as cool as I thought it would be, but Kamui being dominated in a fight is pretty rare, so savor this while you can, Ginta sadists and or Kamui haters. No joke, this was one of the absolute best Shinpachi moments in the entire series. This is the same guy that was shaking in fear at the prospect of fighting Takechi. Now he takes on a beastly, world-ending immortal. And unlike last time, he didn't immediately almost die. Gintama, the series where mascots decide to no longer be mascots. More Kagura badassery. This episode just went from a 9 to a 10. And next week, Nobume joins the fray for her own rematch. Awesome. So allow me to speak more generally about this whole episode. First of all, holy shit! It looked and sounded phenomenal. This is probably the most intense episode of the Silver Soul arc so far, and man was I afraid round 2 of Utsuro vs. Everyone wouldn't live up to the first. But I was wrong as fuck. This also brings me back to the point of animation priorities I've spoken about before. I've read a lot of criticism for a lot of the still frames used in the Silver Soul arc, but this reinforces my argument that the still shots of fighting nameless soldiers is irrelevant as long as the real battles like this one are animated with full effort. And holy shit have they been. If making crowd fights into still shots helps save energy and or money for the major fights, I mean, I'm all for it. I will admit that the crowd fights in the past have looked better, but I feel like good animation for those kinds of scenes are more of a bonus than a necessity. Gintama is a battle shonen, and what matters in a battle shonen is the major battles between characters. And this season hasn't sold us short on that. So far in the Silver Soul arc, Ogai versus the gang, Kamui and Kagura versus the Elder, Ensho versus the Joey, and now Utsuro versus Everyone so far have looked absolutely incredible. And in my opinion, animation is definitely not a negative of this season. There is some criticism for even those fights I mentioned, despite how good they look. And I also want to bring back a point I mentioned in a now deleted video on my top 10 favorite samurai anime fights, that you can find on Vimeo, link is in the description. Anyway, usually the animation in a lot of Gintama fights doesn't seem to put an emphasis on pure Sakuga, but rather in a feeling of impact and intensity. They still look good and have Sakuga put in there, but I think the strength of Sunrise's animation of Gintama fights also lies in their ability to really portray a hard hit, a sense of impact and psychological despair and or determination. Which is why the animation might not always feel free-flowing and fluid like other battle shonen anime tend to portray their fights. But I think Sunrise's balance between Sakuga and impact is usually on point. But when some fights are skewed towards impact, I don't mind because that tends to be Sunrise's style. Well, that was a long-winded diversion. If you got through it, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for 399 subscribers. Make sure to join the Gintamania stream on Thursday if I get to 400 by that time. Take care everyone, and have a great day.